Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video tutorial. In this video, we're going to build a contact form for your WordPress website. I've had a lot of people ask about how to build just a simple contact form for their WordPress website. And I know why they're asking, because it's just one little form that you want for the Contact Us page, not this whole form plugin, all right? Like massive form plugin where it builds all kinds of forms and does all kinds of crazy stuff. Sometimes you just want a simple little Contact Us form, all right? So that's what we're gonna build in this video, and let's get started. So here on our ideapro.io site, we are in the WordPress admin here and on the front of the site here. And then we have our development area open here. We're gonna create a new page, and we're gonna call that page example form plugin.php, and we're going to save that into we're going to add a new folder, example form plugin create. All right, so now we have our new page here. All right, we're going to create some PHP tags, and up here at the top we're going to put in some comment code here, and we're going to say plugin name, and we're going to call it example form plugin. Oops. All right, so that's all you need in a plugin really, is the name. Now here's a video up here in the card on the left is a plugin tutorial I did. If you need to know how to build plugins, it gives more details about the description and author and all that kind of stuff. But this is the basic that you need if it's a plugin like for your own website. All right, so we're gonna go to the admin area here and go to plugins. And we have a lot of plugins on this website because it's the site we use for development and testing and stuff like that. So, all right, we're gonna scroll down. Here's our example form plugin. As I said, we didn't put any descriptions or authors or URL or anything like that in there, so it's very simple. We're going to activate it, and now we're going to go back to our code here. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a function, example form plugin. All right, and we're going to do this as a shortcode. Add shortcode example form. Now this is the first attribute here inside of this add shortcode function is what we're going to put on the page or post for that form. And then here is our callback function, which we can copy this. So this here is the callback, and we can name this function anything we want as long as we do a callback here with that same name. All right, so now here we're going to create a content variable. And then we're going to extend that variable with the dot equals, all right? And then we're going to come down here and we're going to return the content. All right, so now we can do right here, we're going to say hello world, right? And then now we're going to go to our admin area, go to pages, and we're going to put this on the front page of the website. All right, let's remove this one as it's an old one. All right, so down here toward the bottom, we're gonna do a new shortcode, and then we're gonna do square brackets, and then we need to use this part of the form here, or that part of the attribute inside those square brackets, not on the outside. Right there, all right, and then update. All right, so now if we go back here and look and refresh the page, now we have our form or our callback shortcode here, hello world, all right? So now inside of here, we're gonna create our form. We're gonna get rid of this, and we're gonna do an H2. If I can think about what I'm doing here, H2. And we're just gonna say contact us, all right? So now if we go back and refresh, now we have contact us, all right? So I'm not going to put a lot of styling in this form. We do have Bootstrap as a CSS enabled on this site, so it gives us a little bit of quick styling to the fields and stuff like that. So we're going to do a content. We can do a label. Let's do a label for each one of these. And name, and then underneath here we're going to say content equals, and it's going to be input type is equal to text, name is equal to your name, value, oh we don't need a value, let's do a placeholder is equal to enter your name, and then we can close off that field. All right, let's look at that. Oh, we didn't add the styling for Bootstrap. So we can do a class just anywhere here, and form control is the form for Bootstrap. And there we go. So now we have the name and the field. All right, so now we're gonna do two more of those. We're gonna do one called email, .email. All right, so the label, and the proper way to do this would be to add for is equal to, and it is your name here. And then this one is going to be for is equal to your, your email. Sometimes I don't show that stuff whenever I'm doing these demos because I want to keep the video as short as possible. All right, so input type is equal to, in this one we're going to use email type. And we're going to call it your email. If I can type it right here, your email. Placeholder is equal to enter your email. All right. Whoops. All right. And so then the next one that we want to do is a text area box. All right. Label. There we go. Label. Now we're doing this in content variables instead of doing it straight as HTML, because anytime you're doing a shortcode, you have to return the content. If you print out the HTML, not only will it cause an error in saving the page or post, whatever you're adding the shortcode to, it will cause an error in WordPress 5 or newer, but it was also not be in the correct place that you need it to be. And I've made videos about that. I'll put those in the description and cards up here and stuff. So it would be easier if we were writing this in HTML. That way it gives us a little bit more freedom to, for the auto fields and stuff like that for our editor. But with adding it with the content like this inside of PHP, it kind of restricts what our editor will help us with, right? So we're going to say for is equal to your comments. All right. Comments. Let's do questions or comments. Questions or comments. Wow. There we go. All right. So then here we're going to do content equals text area. Area, there we go. Text area, there we go. Can't type for some reason. All right, name is equal to your comments. And we're gonna do a placeholder. Enter your come on, questions or comments. All right. So now we're going to take a look at it. And we did not add the class to it. Form control. And same thing with this one. We're going to add the class. Form control. That makes it look so much better. There we go. All right, so now we have name, email, questions. There's not a lot of space in between here, but we could wrap those in a div and add a little bit more spacing and stuff like that. But again, to make this as easy as quick as possible, I want to not do that right now. All right, so content, there we go. Now we need our submit button. Input type is submit. Submit. Name is equal to example form submit. Now this name is going to be important here in just a minute. So value is equal to what we want the button to say. Send your information. How about that? There we go. All right, so now we need to style that button. I'm going to use the bootstrap styles here for a medium button and blue, which is primary. All right, and we're going to put a break above this just to separate the button from this text area field a little bit. All right, so now we have name, email, questions or comments, and the button. So the one thing that we didn't add up here that we need to add is we need to add content equals our form tag. So form method is equal to post action is equal to. Now this is where we can, I don't want to close that, is where we can send the information to. And to make it easy, what I want to do is I want to add a new page and I want to call it thank you. And down here we can say, let's do an H2 heading tag. Yeah. Thank you for submitting your information. All right. So publish. And now we can view this page here and get this URL so that we can add it to our action here. Now, the best way to do it is to do site and then site URL, but I want to keep it as simple as possible. So we're going to do it like this. And now we have, after we put in our closing form down here, equal to, and we're going to close that form like that. All right. So now we've created a form, and if we go back here and we refresh, so now it will submit to our thank you page and says, thank you for submitting your information. But that information doesn't get captured and it doesn't submit anywhere. So now we're gonna quickly build a way to capture that information, and we're gonna do that by email, all right? So there's a couple of different ways you can capture this information though. And I'm not talking about whether it's emailed or in the database. That is where you're storing the information or whether you're getting the information from. So what I'm talking about is where that form submits. Now there's two ways we can do it. We can do it by submitting the form and add an action in the WP head, which means every time the page loads, any page on the website loads, it will look to see if that form has been submitted. Or we can create a shortcode to put on the thank you page, and that shortcode would actually capture the thank you, would actually capture your form information. So what I want to do is I want to add it to the WP head right now. And the reason why is because if you decide to change the thank you page, if you decide to change it to a unique thank you page based on this form and you make another form that has a different thank you page, when you change where it submits to, if the form submits to an action in the head, the WP head, it will always capture that information and submit it. Now, if you want it to submit to the thank you page and you do it by shortcode, it has to go to that thank you page and that shortcode has to run to be able to capture the form. So if you change that thank you page, you need to add that shortcode to the new thank you page. So without having to add a shortcode to the thank you page and change it later on, we're gonna build it to where it submits to the WP head, all right? So we're gonna create a function. Now I wouldn't recommend doing this if you have a lot of stuff that submits to the WP head. I would, if for small websites where it's like one form and stuff, you can do that and it's not that big a deal, but you don't want a lot of functions running on the page loads. There's already a lot running because WordPress has a lot built into it. So you don't want to add to that as much as possible, but 1 or 2, 3, even 10 is not going to be that big a deal, right? And we're going to build it so that it doesn't execute really anything other than just runs the function. If the form hasn't been submitted, it skips over it, all right? So function, so we're going to call it example form capture. All right, and so then we're going to add an action here, and this action, like I said, is WP head, and then our callback is example form capture. All right, so now when I said that the name of the submit button matters, this is where it's going to find out if that form has been submitted. Okay, so we're going to use this name here, and we're going to say is set if, sorry about that, is set $_post example form submit. So why did it do that? I don't, there we go. So if this exists in the post, then it's going to do anything inside of this if statement. Now, if we were up here in the method, if we used get, we would have to do _get here. So we use post. If you don't know what the difference in those are, post. All right, there we go. So if you don't know the difference between those, I've made some PHP videos. I'm going to make some more that talks about what the difference between get and post is. I don't want to explain that in this video because we're already at 16 minutes. All right, I want to try to keep it under 20 minutes. Okay, so now let's just do a print array for the post, right? So you guys can see what gets submitted. All right, let's go back to our form here. We're going to refresh the page, and we're going to say Josh at ideapro.com, and this is just a test. All right, so submit information. So now here we have what's been submitted from that form, and that's just because we've echoed it out in a print R to print the array of information. All right, so now what we need to do is, now that we know that's 100% working, is we need to create a variable for each. We need to create a name, email, and a comments variable. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is name is equal to, and then we're gonna sanitize the text field. This is just a function built into WordPress, whoops, that will clean the information that's coming through. All right, so we're gonna say post, and then we're gonna come up here to your name, and we're gonna paste that in there. Then we're gonna do one for email, and your email. We'll highlight that and make sure it highlights up here. Yep. All right, and so then we're gonna do one that's comments is equal to sanitize. This is going to be text area field. I had to think about that for a second, because this is a text area, and if anybody does page line breaks and stuff like that, the sanitized text field will remove those line breaks. So we want to make sure we reserve what they've actually entered, the different paragraphs and stuff if they've written a bunch of stuff out, and sanitized text field would eliminate that, but we want to keep it in there. So we're going to say post, and then your comments here. Okay, so now we've grabbed all the post information and put it into individual variables here. Now, the way we're going to send this information is by mail. So we're going to use a WP mail function. And if you haven't set up your email inside of the WordPress admin, I would recommend setting up an SMTP server, because the default WP mail sends through PHP mail, and more than likely it's going to go to spam. All right, so depending on your host, some hosts won't even allow it to send email. So the attributes inside the WP mail function, the first one is to, then we have subject, and then we have message. Then there's another one called, that's attachments and headers and stuff like that, but we're not going to get into that in this here. So we need a to variable, and we're going to send it to Josh at ideapro.com. Whoops. And then we need a subject equals to test form submission. All right, and then message. Right, so here it's just, we're just going to put in the comments and then we're going to do a hyphen. We're not going to really use an HTML email in this, so it's going to be kind of broken up a little bit. So let's do name, and it was submitted by email. All right, so that's our message. We could move these around and put the comments first. I mean the comments last. That probably makes a little bit more sense. All right, so now we have their name, email, and then the comments. All right, so we're gonna save that, and let me see if my email is open. My email's open, but where is it? There we go. Okay. All right. So I have it on another screen. Okay. So now we're going to submit the form. We're going to go back here and we're going to refresh. Uh-oh. I did something wrong. What did I do? Post. Oh, your comments. That does not need a bracket around it. There we go. All right. So now we're back here on the front page. And we're going to say, Josh, let's do my Gmail account and testing the form submission. All right, post. All right, so now we should get an email. And here's our email. My name, email, and then our comments did not work. Okay, our comments didn't come through, so let's look at see what we have wrong here. Text area name is equal to your, name is equal to your comments. All right, so let's go back. All right, refresh this page. Okay, so now we're gonna do Josh at, I'll do Joshua Herbison at gmail.com and testing the form submission again. All right, so submit. Bloop. Thank you for submitting your form. We're gonna check our email real quick. All right, so here's the email that we got. Josh at gmail.com, testing the form submission again. All right, so that is the basics to building your own contact form. Now, again, you can use that form anywhere that you want to use this shortcode, right? You can put that shortcode in a post or on a form, on a page, usually on your Contact Us page, and that's it. That's creating a form. There's more details you can put in, more fields, even files if you want to, but you got to be really careful on those to make sure that you only accept certain types of files. That gets a little bit more difficult. If I need to expand on this a little bit, I can in another video. I can even make it to where it goes into a database and so on and get more security on the fields itself and on the PHP side of things. But I wanted to create this and make it as short and as quick as possible. So let me know what you think. Please like the video, share it with anybody that you think will learn from this video, and comment on it, please. Please let me know your comments on what you need me to expand on, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.